What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I can't believe how long it's been. It's just been a really trying couple of weeks. And it's very difficult to film recaps when you're in that mood because you're unnecessarily bitchy. So I thought I would just stay away from the show until I was feeling a little bit better, which brings us to today. Thank you so much for waiting, and for all of you who sent in messages checking in. Yes, I'm still alive. Head over water, but I'm still alive. Okay, let's jump into a recap of what went down on Teen Mom 2 Season 9, Episode 8. The episode started off with the first and last scene of Janelle that we were gonna see. She's sitting in her car in like the disguise from like Mean Girl. She doesn't even go here, with her glasses on, and she's like complaining that she feels like she got punched in the face and like the head and the nose and all this stuff. And you know, all of us knowing her husband's violent history with women are kind of like, wait, do you feel like that because you're sick, like you're claiming, or do you feel like that because that's what happened? Because you really never know. Just a couple weeks ago, she was calling 911 because her husband had assaulted her, right? She blames it on a sinus issue. Before we're headed over to Florida, where Briana reveals that she filed for child support and wants to go to New York City to see her boyfriend John and talk to Luis about her filing. She goes out to lunch with her friend Shirley to talk about looking for a cheaper daycare since Luis stopped paying for daycare for his daughter Stella. It really is just mind-boggling how much of a deadbeat this Luis guy really is at his age. He's in his 30s, and this is the way he continues to behave towards his children. Now, somewhere in the Dakotas, Adam's mom is telling her granddaughter Aubree that Adam is going to be visiting her at lunch for school, and understandably Chelsea is extremely upset about that because she knows Adam is not going to show up because he is still knee-deep in his drug addiction and like just is not reliable at all. She's like, why would you tell that to my daughter knowing that your son ain't shit? Like, come on. Over in Dover, Kail's producer Patrick asked her about the child support situation that she's been upset about since the last episode or so, and she is absolutely livid about the potential of paying $2,300 a month and back child support on top of that. I don't see why she was, okay, I could see why she's upset about the $2,300 a month because that is a lot of money, but at the same time, I don't understand why she was upset about the back child support. She admitted herself that she did not withdraw her filing for child support when she promised that she would, which was sometime last year, right? So Joe has been overpaying for quite a while because she refused to just go to the court and stop it. She's got all this time to chase like Chris and all these other men and women around town, but she's got no time to stop her baby daddy for paying child support. So of course Joe wants her to run him his money back. Like, I've overpaid you for this long, so pay me that money, and also I need your help with some money as well, so pay me this other money on top of that. I could see why she's upset about the $2,300 a month, but I don't think it's that much considering her income is said to be like somewhere around $500,000 a year. But like the back child support is what's got you upset, Petty Betty? Really? Really? She just finished calling Joe petty, and then she goes, you know what, like, he's petty for wanting child support, but you know what, I'm so upset about this, I'm not even gonna get his daughter a Christmas gift. Really? You're gonna bring children into this, like a toddler, and like you're gonna bring a toddler into your like feud with her dad, and you're calling her dad petty for wanting money to support you guys' son. Like, this girl really does not ever have an ounce of like introspection. She's so like, I don't even know the word for it. It's embarrassing. She's vile is what I have to say. Like, this woman is so vile. Her children are gonna watch this one day and see how abrasive and nasty she's always been with their fathers. Meanwhile, in West Virginia, Jeremy called in sick on his parenting duties, so Leah goes out to dinner to talk to her sister about like her fears about her daughter Addie developing abandonment issues over how kind of absent Jeremy is in her life. She's like, it's not only the fact that he's gone so often, it's that he doesn't call, like he doesn't FaceTime with her, like he just seems like to not have that much of an interest in her, and that is obviously incredibly hard on her, especially when she's got like her sisters who are constantly like you know, with their dads. I'm pretty sure Corey is the one who's got primary custody of the twins, you know, so it must be really hard on Addie, you know, for that reason. And she also draws on her own experiences with her own father as well. She's like, you know, I kind of had those issues growing up with a dad who wasn't there. Even further down south, Briana, the single mom with no help, leaves her kids in Florida to meet up with her new boyfriend, and the two of them talk about how she's gonna approach Lewis about child support. Down in South Dakota, Chelsea picks up her daughter Aubree from school and, you know, immediately like begins to hassle her about like whether or not her father appeared. I was kind of like, why don't you let the girl buckle in her little seatbelt first before you grill her on her absentee father? Or maybe even better yet, just go about your little drive and don't bring it up unless she brings it up. Because Aubree's been saying since I think the beginning of the season that she doesn't really like talking about this stuff on camera. But, you know, of course, as usual, that is going to be, you know, thrown out to the wind in favor of that one storyline that her mother has. Aubree assures her mom that she didn't care that her deadbeat dad didn't show up because she doesn't expect him to be present. And then Chelsea, like, she kind of treats it like it's today's gossip. Like, oh my God, Brangelina broke up. Let me call your dad. Let's talk about it. She was kind of like, oh, so like you know, like you feel really crappy about this or whatever. You don't expect your dad to show up. Let's call Cole and talk about it. Do you mind if I call Cole? It was kind of like, you know, this is not exactly gossip. Why don't you just drive on back home and talk to your little husband when you get home and leave your child out of it, because this is not, it was just so weird. So anyway, she starts calling Cole. Aubree tells her to put that stuff on speakerphone, and Chelsea's like, ooh, I kind of feel like you like when I put it on speakerphone. Do you like when he gets upset? Is that what you're into? I was like, girl, this is so mortifying. What is wrong with you? And so of course, when Cole's on the phone, he expresses his dismay about Adam once again abandoning Aubree, but that whole entire scene was uncomfortable to watch, to say the least. Now, Jeremy's doctor's note expires, so he begrudgingly picks up his daughter Addie to spend time with her, and could not sound any more underwhelmed if he tried while he was driving her around. I was like, dude, at least fake the funk for a second here. You would think he picked up Leah's mom, Dawn, or something like that. Now, it's time for Isaac's basketball tryout, and Kail and her hard nipples came to it like it was a nightclub where women get in free before midnight or something like that. Have some respect. These kids are like 9 years old, girl. Of course, in typical petty Betty fashion, she is acting like a total ice queen, and tension is very palpable to everyone. You know what I mean? So of course, Isaac, being as sensitive as he is, picks up on that, and it throws off his whole mood. My poor boy could not even land a single shot. You know, Kail was encouraging about it, but it's like your vibe is what's causing him to miss these shots, sis. And so she tries to kind of shuttle him out of the gym afterwards, like without saying something to Joe. Like, it was so weird. Like, Joe was the one who brought him there and had to drive back with him, but she acted like she was about to kidnap his ass or something like that. So she's walking out with him and she goes, oh, didn't see your dad there. Really, girl? You know full well you saw his father there. Come on now. And so, you know, it's just sad to see the toxic energy that she brought around her child that day over something as ridiculous as money. You know, unfortunate. We're back in Aubreeland again, where she gets picked up by Adam's mom for her weekend visit, and Chelsea and Cole talk about Lunchgate and adoption. They think that Aubree would resent them if they took away Adam's rights, but I kind of feel like, in my opinion, and I hopefully will never be in this situation, so I don't really know, but in my opinion, they can pull his rights just for their own safety in case something ever happened to Chelsea, that Aubree would be with her, you know what I mean, like with Cole or her family or whatever, but still maintain the relationship. I feel like she would still be perfectly happy with Aubree going over to Adam's parents regularly. She would probably still be happy if Adam ever did come around and recover, you know, letting them facilitate a relationship. You know, it's just not on paper anymore. I kind of feel like that's an option as well. I don't think that just stripping him of his rights legally means that you've got to strip him out of her life completely. Like, that's always going to be there. He's always going to be her dad. But again, that's just a thought from a childless vlogger. Cole then shows off a fortune cookie set that Aubree gave him, which was sweet, but Chelsea's crazy ass eyes were lighting up, and it reminded me of the time when she had Aubree write Cole a letter or whatever, like a couple seasons back, or when Paisley asked Aubree if Cole was her dad. Like, she could be creepily obsessive about their relationship. Sometimes I'm like, girl, are we talking about Aubree's feelings here, or are we talking about Cole's? Meanwhile, in Florida again, Briana meets up with deadbeat Lewis, who claims to be graduating before moving back to Florida. She asks him why he doesn't ask for photos of his own child, and he asks, you know, why do I even need to ask them? Shouldn't you be sending them to me? No, absolutely freaking not. You should be the one proactively interested in photos of your child. And if you're not receiving the photos of your child, you should be proactively begging for them. You know what I mean? Like, come on. This is the same woman who paid for your flight to come down to your child's birthday party, and you came empty-handed. She then tells him that he should be the one reaching out to FaceTime and stuff, so it's not a huge shock for his daughter when he decides to appear, and he claims that he cares about his daughter but just finds talking to Briana bothersome. And Briana reveals to him that she files for child support, and he says that he doesn't blame her. Did you guys notice that Briana's got a full plate of food? Meanwhile, deadbeat Lewis doesn't even have a glass of water. This guy really is broke. And it's not to shame him, but it's like, why would he just up and ditch his job like that with not one, but 2 kids to care for and put himself in this financial predicament? Like, again, this guy is 30 something. It's so ridiculously irresponsible. Back in West Virginia again, Leah picks up Addie from Jeremy, and she kind of scolds him a little bit for, like, you know, calling in sick on daddy duty. But, you know, in his favor, he did actually look pretty sick, so I guess I'm gonna let it go too. And Jeremy's like, you listen, I was sick, antibiotics, I got a shot in the ass, so my daughter needs to get over it, even though she doesn't understand. Back at Joe and V's home, V stands in the kitchen with Kail's producer to talk about how she texted Kail about the child support and hasn't gotten a response yet. On one hand, I was like, KV, you are so grown, good for you thinking about the children here, going out of your way to text. But at the same time, it's like, you and your husband are married, you got to put together a united front. I don't think you should go behind his back to reach out to his baby mama and say that he was in the wrong, you know, especially knowing how spiteful and nasty Kail is. She was always going to hold that over your head and your husband's head, so you really don't want to do that. And she doesn't appreciate the gesture anyway, as evidenced by her lack of response back. She says that they need to improve their communication and make it through this. She also says that she was upset with the way that Joe went about things without talking to Kail first, and is worried about the impact that all of this is going to have on Isaac. I love that she brought him up. It's crazy that the stepmom is more like interested in the emotional impact that this is going to have on the Wicked Witch of the West's child than the Wicked Witch of the West herself. Like, you can wear all the mom merchandise you want, but at the end of the day, look at the way you're treating your child, mother hustler. Now, let me set the tone of what's going down in South Dakota, okay? Chelsea and Cole are at home with their kids, just sitting around, you know, waiting for their storyline to appear. They're like, oh, what time is that? Our storyline, hurry up, let's talk. So Aubree comes over, and they're all so freaking excited. They're like, yes, oh my God, this month's batch of helium gas for our voices is about to be paid. Aubree, let's talk. Your dad abandoned you again, didn't he? Didn't he? How do you feel about that, Aubree? How do you feel, girl? It hurts, doesn't it? And what's most painful about the scene, you know, besides the fact that they're totally disregarding this poor girl's feelings, is the fact that you could see Aubree rolling her eyes. Like, I think this is the second time this episode alone that you've seen her turn red a little bit and roll her eyes about the constant like questioning about her dad. Now, Leah reveals that she and her kids moved into Jason's place while dealing with the flood for the next couple of weeks, even though we all know that that's not the case. They probably moved in long before that. And Leah takes the opportunity to talk to Jason about confronting Jeremy about being a bit MIA from Addie's life. They then give each other some daps for support to finish the conversation. Meanwhile, in the final scene of the episode, which was Emmy-worthy if you ask me, Becky comes over to Kail's house, and Kail talks about V texting her about the child support situation and asking to meet up to talk. Kail admits to turning down the invitation to meet up to talk, but she says that she told V that it's not her that she's mad at. And V told her that like all of this is a result of her refusing to take Joe off child support like she said that she would, like going back on her promise. Like, what the heck was that about? That's why we're in this situation right now. And then Kail starts bragging about going to her child's basketball game and ignoring his father and making it like a really awkward, tense, like nasty like environment for him. And her friend puts her in her place. Becky's like, oh wow, like you're not going to be an adult, really? Oh, like come on, think of your child here. Like, this is not fun and games. Think of your child. You know you've got an emotionally sensitive son, so what are you doing here? Why don't you be an adult and get together with Joe and hammer this out? And Kail shot her daggers. Like, she gave her death stares. And one of you guys tweeted me this. They're like, don't be surprised if you don't see Becky next season, because people are not allowed to tell Kail the truth about herself. Anyway, you guys, that does it for a recap of Teen Mom 2 Season 9, Episode 8. As usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything, so please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more, feel free to share it with your friends as well, and follow me across social media where I absolutely love chatting with you. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.